Hey guys, I'm so glad you're here today. Today we're going to be painting a beach scene. How many of you have been to the beach this summer? It's one of my favorite places to go. And one of my favorite times to be on the beach is at sunset when the sun is just going down and the colors in the sky change. So today we're going to paint a sunset. We're going to use several colors. I'm going to start off with red, but we're also going to use yellow and orange for the sky. So I'm going to get my red paint, my paintbrush here, and my paper plate. Doesn't take a whole lot of paint, which is good because I think I'm almost out of red. I'm going to start at the top of my page, so I'm going to load my brush. I'm going to mash my brush into my paint on both sides, get a good amount of paint. And I'm just going to go from one side to the other. I don't want my brush strokes to go this way. We'll make sure they always go this way. And I'm going to come down about 2 inches from the top. So I'm going to go all the way across from side to side. Go back and get paint often because when your paintbrush starts doing that, there's not enough paint. So keep going back to load your brush. Keep coming down until you're about that far down. Maybe 2 inches from the top. I'll let that end in kind of a straight line. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. And then I'm going to go to orange. I've still got lots of red left. Maybe I put too much. I'll use less orange. I'm not going to clean my brush out. I'm just going to leave that red in my brush because that's going to help us to blend those colors. I'm going to dip into my orange, load my brush. I know there's still some red in there, that's okay. I'm going to start going from side to side, just like I did with the red. I'm actually going to paint a little on top of that red where the red stopped. A little orange right on top of there. That's going to help it look like it blends a little bit. Going all the way across, just like I did with my red. If you need me to slow down or if you need to pause your video, you can do that. You can't keep up. We're going pretty fast on this one. The next color is going to be yellow. Again, I'm not going to wash my brush out. Put a little yellow on my plate. There's still some orange and red in my brush. Just going to dip right into my yellow. I'm going to keep those other colors on there. And this time I'm going to come down about 2 more inches with my yellow. And you can see that orange and red are still in my brush. They're going to keep showing through. So I'm going to keep going back and getting yellow real often so I don't run out of color. Going right back over where that orange ended. All the way across. And I do want this line to be pretty straight where it ends because this is going to be our horizon line. That means that's where the water and the sky are going to look like they meet. Okay, is that straight? I think maybe that's straight enough. Okay. And now I'm going to get a clean brush because I don't want to mix my next color in with those that are on the sky. My next color is going to be blue. Some blue out there. And I'm going to paint blue all the way down to the bottom of my paper. I'm going to clean brush here. Again, we want that first line of blue to be pretty straight. So I'm going to go right underneath my yellow. If my yellow line isn't real straight, then I can paint right over it and make it a little straighter. Okay. Looks pretty straight. And then I'm going to keep coming down. I want to make sure that my brush strokes go from left to right. They're going to go off the page on the sides. Most of the time when you see water, the waves are going from left to right. So that's what we want our water to do. It's okay if you see some brush strokes. It's just going to make it look more like water. running out of paint, keep plenty of paint in your brush. We don't want it to start doing that. That means I'm out of paint. And I'm just going to keep working my way down. Even if you feel like you're running out of paint often, it's still never a good idea to dip in like this because that paint's going to drip. Can you see how that's dripping? And sometimes those drips can make a mess. So I'm just going to keep dipping each side of my brush in. I just have to do that very often. We don't want to leave any white spots showing in there. Keep coming all the way down. If you have any thick spots or places that don't seem to be drying quickly enough, take your brush and just kind of go back over those spots and smear those out a little bit more. I'm almost to the bottom. I'm using a lot of blue. How many of you have ever seen a sunset? We even have sunsets in the country and on the farms. Do any of you live on a farm? In the city, do they have sunsets? I went fishing yesterday and watched the sunset while I was fishing. It was fun. It was a beautiful sunset. All right, almost to the bottom. I do see a few spots where my paint's a little thicker, so I'm going to go back and smear those out a little bit. Because we do want our blue to dry fairly quickly. Now then. There we go. Now it's time for the trunk of our palm tree. How many of you have been to the beach? Have you seen palm trees on the beach? They're always pretty. They're a little different than the trees we have here. They don't have the same kind of leaves that an oak tree or an apple tree. What other kind of trees do you have? So I've got a clean brush. I'm going to dip into my brown paint and load both sides. And I'm going to start just above the line where the blue and the yellow meet. We're going to let this be a tall palm tree in the front. So I'm going to start right about here, right there. And I'm going to let it curve just a little bit. Palm trees sometimes have a nice curve. The other side of my palm tree is going to be a little closer at the top, but as it comes down, when it starts getting about halfway down, it's going to start working its way out. Because trees are usually a little bit wider at the bottom than they are at the very top. So I've got these two lines here. Here's one. Here's the other. And then I'm just going to put brown paint right in between those two lines. Sometimes it takes a couple of coats of paint to completely cover up the blue. But it's better to put two thin coats than just one thick coat because that one thick coat might not dry. Put that on there. You can still see where the line is there where the sky and the water meets. I'm going to put an extra little coat of paint there. There we go. How do your trees look? Does it look like a tree trunk? I bet yours are wonderful. I can't wait to see. All right. Now, there we go. So there's the trunk of our tree. The next color that we use is going to be a light green. So I have two shades of green, and I'm going to wash that brush. I won't use that one again. I have two shades of green. I have a light and a dark. I'm going to start off with my light green. clean brush. Okay, I'm going to dip into my green. My light green is there. And my first branch is going to start right in the middle here of that brown. And it's going to go this way. It's going to drape way over like so. It's going to go up a little, and then it's coming way down here on the water. On the other side, I'm going to do another one, and it's going to go this way. So it starts from the same spot that that one did, goes up just a little, and then curves way down into the water. I'm going to do 2 more of these branches. It's going to go up a little higher before it curves down. So we have some space between those 2 lines. On the other side, I'm going up a little. It's going to curve way down. Again, not touching these branches. And my last one, because I'm so close to the top of my page, my last one is going to go up, curve a little to the left, and just run right off of my page there. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can have more, you can have less, but we want to make sure that we've got plenty of space between them. So here come the palm fronds coming off of each of those. They have a little curve. They're always going to curve towards the tree. Okay, are you ready? We'll start here in the center on this bottom branch, and it's going to curve this way. Can you see how they have just a little curve on the ends? I'm going to go up to the next one. Again, it's going to curve in. If your leaves or your palm fronds touch one another at this point, it's okay. Because this one curved to the left, these are also going to come to the left. And then I'm going to the other side of my tree. I'm going to do this one first. It's going to curve inward towards the tree. Same with the next one. Curve in just a little bit. Here we go. So that's all you're going to do with that light green. Next, I'm going to get some dark green. And you can see the difference. One's really light, one's really dark. A little of that dark green on my plate. I'm not changing my brush. I'm going to keep that same brush. The greens are going to be fine together. I'm going to dip into my dark green. Now my point here is, or my purpose here is not to completely cover that light green. I love that light green and it makes those branches stand out. I'm just going to put this very quickly. I'm not even being real careful with this. I'm just going to come right down, right on top of each of those branches with a little dark green. I want to make sure that I can still see some of that light green shining out underneath. And we're going to do on each of the branches, I'm going to do this. It's almost as though I'm putting that green just next to each of those branches or leaves. The last one is here. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my brown. I'm not going to change brushes. I am going to just wipe this one off a little bit. I'm going to dip into my brown. And I'm going to make some coconuts on my tree. And I'm going to do those right here where the branches come out from the trunk of the tree. And these are just circles. Do one there. Just kind of twisting my brush like this. Put my brush down and I just kind of spin my brush. Do one more. There we go. How do your coconuts look? Do they look like coconuts? Our next color is black. Black is going to be used to sort of accent some things. So I'm going to put Doesn't take a lot of black. A little black goes a long ways. I'm going to take a small brush. This brush is much smaller than the one I was painting with. I'm going to dip into my black. And on the trunk of my tree, my lines are going to be going from one side to the other like this. They each have a little slant. Have you ever seen a palm tree? Their bark is a little different than other trees. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to outline my tree trunk, which just means I'm going to go from here to the bottom, right along the brown edge, just like so. If you run out of paint, go back and get more. We're going to do that on both sides here. I'm going to outline my coconuts. They're still wet, so that brown is going to mix in with my black a little. It's going to really make for some great looking coconuts there. I also want to draw or paint a black line right there where the blue and the yellow meet. I don't want to paint over my palm tree leaves. So when I get to a palm tree leaf, I'm just going to stop. Start again on the other side. Okay. And then the very last thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of black to the palm fronds. I'm not trying to cover up my green again, so that's why I'm using a smaller brush. And I'm just going to very quickly and very lightly just kind of go down each one, like so. It's going to really make them stand out. As you can see, my green is still there. I'm not trying to hide my green. I want to make sure they still have that green. Keep going back and get more paint as you need to. One last one here. Run right off my page there. There we go. And then I think I'm going to add a bird flying in the background. Now, if the bird is close to me, it's going to be a bigger bird like so. Let's see, let's make this one kind of big. It's just a V that kind of curves out on the sides. And I'll put one maybe over here that's a smaller V. So it looks like he's farther away in the distance. So what do you think? I hope you've enjoyed painting with me today, and I hope yours have turned out well. I can't wait to see what you've been able to do. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye, everybody.